Y'all, third time was not a charm. I don't know what happened, but video and audio were off by like 3 seconds, and it was nearly impossible for me to watch. So I can't imagine that anybody else could possibly try and watch it. So let's try again, shall we? Welcome to Vlogtober! Day 2. Take 4. There has been some kind of technical difficulty all day long. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm going to show you what I did today anyway. Okay? Let's start off with... I'm having some tea. Rhubarb cream soda from David's Tea in my iced tea infuser cup. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you again how it works, because I did that twice today. Finished some cute little outfits. So most of the patterns for these are patterns by Pirates, and these are the petite pegs. They have a women's legging pattern that is peg legs, so the baby ones are petite pegs. The wee beanie, I want to make like 1 million of these. They are super fast, they're super cute. And then the wee lap tee, did the short sleeve and banded version so that it would coordinate better with Big Sister's shirt, which is going to be a little more difficult to show you with one hand, but I already put away the tripod and stuff. I don't feel like getting it back out because takes 2 and 3 excuse me, we're done on with the tripod, and then yeah, no, enough of that. But this one is also Patterns for Pirates, and it is the tiny tulip. Did the short sleeve version with the band at the bottom. They also have, these are all free patterns, by the way. They also have one that you can do either the back or neck as a crossover at the bottom. It's real cute, but I wanted this so that their shirts could be as similar as possible. And then this one is Made for Mermaids, which is the sister site to Patterns for Pirates. Literally, they're sisters. And this is the Bonnie leggings. Look at the stripe matching. Sometimes I do things right. Anyway, their mama has seen these, so they're going to get a quick press, and then I will drop them in the mail. And she will have them this weekend. And baby girl isn't due for a couple more weeks, so... Also, this afternoon, hopefully, if I still have time, since I didn't think I was going to have to record again, I'm going to sew up some project bags for my shop in Halloween stuff, because I'm doing a Halloween update at the end of this week. So we have some more witches, pumpkins and bats, these bats, some little polka dots. And then this more fall, not really, Halloween fabric. And I also have some more pumpkin fabric someplace, and hopefully I can find it. It might be in a box over there from when we moved. Anyway. The other thing that I had talked about earlier was kind of how I do some of our meal prep so that I can get dinner on the table in a reasonable amount of time most nights. So I have a pressure cooker, I have an Instant Pot, and I really like it for doing meats and stuff. I do, typically we have in the fridge at any given time salsa chicken and carne asada and some kind of pork, usually green chili pork. I also batch cook beans and Spanish rice because both of those are pretty easy. In fact, beans is probably my favorite thing to do in the Instant Pot, and it is like the simplest recipe ever. And seriously, y'all, 2 hours start to finish, dry beans to dinner. There's not a lot more that can be said for that. But let's see if I can rearrange that a little bit. No, I can't, not really. So for pinto beans, I do a pound of beans and 5 cups of liquid, be it broth or stock or, I'm real sorry, I can't find a decent spot. Broth or stock or a combination thereof. I usually do a whole cut up onion, peppers, tomatoes. Sometimes I just decide to be lazy and I get some already prepared pico de gallo in the produce department at our local HEB and dump that in instead. Whatever seasonings you want. I also usually add either a ham bone or some kind of pork product just for flavor. Pressure cook for 55 minutes. Let it do a full natural release, which usually takes about 45 minutes. And in 2 hours you have dinner. But I usually make a pound at a time, which is way more than we need. So part of it goes in the fridge, part of it goes in the freezer, and then we have it for future meals. I also do usually 2 cups of rice at a time, and I'll see if I can find the rice recipe that I usually use for Spanish rice in the pressure cooker because it's a good one and it's simple. You use salsa. And then as far as meats go, I usually have salsa chicken in the fridge, and that's 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I don't normally like dark meat at all. I really like the texture of chicken thighs coming out of the pressure cooker. But anyway, 2 pounds of chicken thighs, a jar of salsa, pressure cook it for 10 minutes, let it natural release for about 15 minutes, and then release the rest of the pressure. Shred the chicken, and part goes in the freezer, part goes in the fridge, and we use it for all kinds of things. Enchiladas and tacos, taco bowls, burrito bowls, however you want to call them, as well as, taco salads, whatever. Carne guisada seasonings, beef, tomatillos, onions, peppers, some tomatoes. Pressure cook for about 50 minutes. Let it fully naturally release. Again, part in the fridge, part in the freezer. And then green chili pork is probably our favorite around here. And I do a 4 to 5 pound shoulder cut into chunks. And I add about half a cup of chicken broth, onions, garlic, green chili sauce, which I will talk to y'all tomorrow about how I make that, because I would like to not feel so frustrated when I talk about it. Pressure cook for 45 minutes. 45 minutes is probably fine. And full natural release, and shred it, and again, it can go in whatever. Now, I just remembered that I didn't tell you why I'm telling you all that stuff. Seriously, this is take 4. Last night I posted a picture of our dinner on Instagram, and I got a lot of direct messages about having dinner ready on time with a 2-year-old running around and cooking everything from scratch. The reason I can make things from scratch on any given night, other than the fact that I'm a stay-at-home mom, is that I do this batch cooking ahead of time. And so last night, all I had to do was put everything together and put it in the oven. I also make enchilada sauce ahead of time, and down in the down bar I will have the recipe that I like to use. I double it, and instead of cooking it for the amount of time it says in the recipe, I just let it simmer for a few hours, and then usually freeze it in 2-cup portions, and then I have it ready to go when I need it. So for the stacked enchiladas I made last night, it Pyrex baking dish, and spray it with a little olive oil, add a little enchilada sauce, put down some tortillas. Last night with flour because that's what I had. This is a real good meal for just cleaning out the things that you had. And last night we had salsa chicken and carne guisada because they both needed to be used up or frozen, and there wasn't really enough of either of them to freeze. So I made one stack that was chicken and one stack that was beef, and so your meat, sauce on top of that, cheese on top of that, and just keep layering until you're either out of something or your pan, you reach the top of your pan. Last night I did it until I was out of meat, and then a little extra enchilada sauce on top, top with some more cheese, and then bake in a 350-degree oven for about half an hour. You just want everything good and heated through and bubbly. Oh, and that's the other thing. I didn't heat any of that stuff up. It was cold straight from the fridge. I had thawed the enchilada sauce and that was it. It was all cold. So there's not even any reason to warm it up before it goes in the oven. Just kind of spread it around with a spatula. But anyway, you just want it all good and melty and bubbly, and you want those top tortillas to start just to get a little bit crispy. Anyway, I'm gonna hope that this worked this time. If not, there will not be a day 2. So I'm not doing it again. Tomorrow I will show you my cross stitch because I wanted to show you that today, but it's really way too difficult to try to show with one hand. Especially because the bag is zipped and stuff. So I hope October is treating you well so far, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.